Hey everybody, welcome back to Prescription Bourbon. I'm DMC from Louisville, Kentucky. Today I'm doing a blind tasting of some great wheated bourbon whiskeys. So this is the second time I've done this blind wheated flight to see what's the best wheated bourbon out there. Today I've got a new lineup, 4 different wheated bourbon whiskeys going against each other, and we'll see which one's the best. So I've got Wilderness Trail, 6-year-old wheated bourbon whiskey. So this has a 64% corn, 24% wheat, 12% malted barley mash bill, and it is non-chill filtered. I've got Old Elk wheated bourbon, and this comes in at 5 years old. This is from Fort Collins, Colorado, Old Elk Distillery, and it is put out by master distiller Greg Metz, who was the master distiller at the old Seagram's, now MGP distillery in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. So he retired from there. They hired him out at Old Elk in Colorado, and he has been sourcing some bourbon back from Lawrenceburg, Indiana. So this is stuff that he's gone back and gotten from his previous distillery, and like I say, this is 5 years old. So we'll see how it goes. Next up, I've got McKenzie bourbon whiskey. Now this is bottle and bond, so this one is a minimum of 4 years old. Comes in at 100 proof, and it is from the Finger Lakes Distillery in New York State. So I didn't mention the proof point on these other two. The Wilderness Trail is also bottle and bond. Comes in at 100 proof, and the Old Elk is 92 proof. So last up, we've got Weller Antique 107. So this is from Buffalo Trace Distillery in Frankfort, Kentucky. This comes in at 107 proof and non-age stated, but it's most likely 6 to 8 year old bourbon. So so nice lineup. We've got 92 proof 5-year-old. We've got 200 proofs bottle and bond. One's non-age stated, so it's 4 years old. The other one is 6-year age stated. And then we've got 107 proof Antique 107. All right, so I've got these poured already. I've got them mixed up. I'm just going to pull them forward. We'll go through and give these a nose, give them a taste, and tell you which one I like today. We'll start over here on your left. Call this A, B, C, D, going right across. So Class A on the nose. All right, a little bit of alcohol punch on that ethanol. A little bit of sour on that. That sour is kind of pushing a little bit of a bread note. So, like I say, these all have a wheated mash bill. So there's corn is the primary ingredient. They're all bourbons, and then wheat is the secondary ingredient. So, yeah, nice nose, B. He's not nearly as alcohol forward. And we'll see. A, that might go away on A. First glass I picked up. I guess I quite often, get alcohol right off the bat on the first glass. So. So a little bit of some oak on this one. A little bit of caramel and oak. Very, very faint. See? So C has a little bit of C definitely has a different nose. So it's more of a, you know, oddly enough, more of a little bit of a pine note on that, which is odd because usually you get the pine on rye. So, but it's got a good aroma. It's got a little bit of that same you know, oakiness and caramel that the B had, but it's got a different note there also. So, and D for the first time. All right, D is the most caramel forward, probably the sweetest nose. Yeah, I would say some oak and some caramel in that also. So, yeah, the noses, for the most part, are very similar. Yeah, definitely some bready yeastiness on A. Very, I mean, I got more of a beer aroma on that. I just picked it up, and I like I said, the alcohol, ethanol is gone. After nosing all these, that was just that first one I picked up. So yeah, more bread on A. I'd say baked bread on B, so more yeastiness on A, baked bread on B. Some sort of a vegetal. Really, I don't know if I can call it pine. It's definitely some kind of a herby plant on C. And more caramel on D. So there we go. All right, we'll go ahead and give them a taste on A. Cheers. All right, definitely hits you with the spice on the edge of the tongue. Very common in a wheated bourbon. Spice stays on the top of the tongue, though. It covers the whole tongue, top of the tongue. Get some oak. Get some peppery spice on there. So, you know, the tingle was on the tongue, and then the pepper finish was on the top of the tongue. So, definitely had some heat in that pepper. So spicy pepper. Yeah, good flavor. The oak. It's a tiny bit tannic, but not bad. Not much else going on there. It went down a little warm, but the warmth disappeared pretty quickly. The spiciness is lingering though, so it's a good finish on that. B, cheers. Much sweeter on B than A on the initial sip. The spiciness is not as dominant. It does tingle on the edges of the tongue, but it doesn't coat the tongue with that spice. The medium finish, definitely a shorter finish as far as the spice level goes. A good sip. Go with C. Yeah, C was definitely spicier than A and B. Not only does it have a different aroma, it's got a little bit different taste. Spicy, it was very mouth coating, very long finish. hard for me to put my finger on that taste. See, it's not your standard bourbon flavor, so slightly off on that. Go with D. Cheers. All right, D's got a good mouth coating. Seem a little more viscous than the previous ones. Spice does hit the tongue, but it does get down in the mouth also, and it lingers. So it's a good lingering spice. Definitely some oakiness there. A little bit drying, a little bit tannic. Yeah, good flavors. So, all right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cover these up. Let the aromas build. Let them sit for a little while longer. I'll come back. I'll taste them again in reverse order, and tell you which one I like the best today. All right, I'm back. Before I get back into the tasting, just want to mention, if you like what you're seeing here, hit that like button. If you're new here, think about hitting subscribe. Really appreciate that. You can find me on Instagram.com/prescriptionbourbon. You can find me on Patreon.com/prescriptionbourbon. So feel free to watch my Instagram posts, join discussions there, or join my Patreon for additional content and whatnot. But yeah, love to have you as a subscriber. Love to hear from you in the comments down below too. So yeah, I mentioned this is my second round of this Wheated Bourbon Challenge. So the first round I did last year, about a year ago, and in it I had a Maker's Mark, Maker's 46, I believe. I had a Larceny store pick. I had a Rebel 100, and I had this Weller Antique 107. So the Weller won that challenge. So this is almost maybe will become a King of the Hill type thing. But I've got 3 new challengers up against the Weller, and we'll see how, we'll see who reigns supreme today. But yeah, that last year was a little surprising for me. Larceny I expected to not be on top, but I kind of expected the Maker's 46 to be up there, and actually the Rebel 100 beat out the Maker's 46, which I was surprised. So, but this Weller 107 definitely took the top prize then. We'll see what it does today. All right, get these uncovered, and we'll go back through and give them another nose, give them a taste. So starting with D this time, I'm going to go back through in reverse order, but yeah, definitely get some caramel on that, which I think I got the first time around. Just the first thing that hits me. Spiciness on the edge of the tongue, typical on these wheated bourbons. Definitely have some oak in there. Like I said, it is a little drying, I think I said before. But the spice level is good. It's a good cinnamon spice, and it's lingering. So I know the proof range on these went from 92, 100 to 107. None of them are hot going down. None of them burn going down. So that one had a little bit of warmth. That was it. So go with Class C. Cheers. C continues to be the most different of the 3. Has something in there that's not your standard bourbon note. I'm not saying it's bad, just something I'm not used to. Something I could see where some people would probably really like that. Could get used to it. But if I were guessing, I'm thinking this might be the McKenzie. So yeah, it's definitely not as spicy on the tongue. It does have a little bit on the edge. a little bit going down, but yeah, it has some oak, it has a little sweetness, but it does have some sort of a leafy, bushy flavor of some sort. So yeah, definitely I'm gonna put it behind D for now. So go with Class B. Baked bread, very mouth coating, very spicy. The spiciest one so far going this way. Spice level builds, and it lingers. It had a good caramel taste in there. A little bit of sweetness, a little bit of spiciness, and all that. But yeah, that's good. Put it above C also, and go ahead and give A a taste. A seemed to hit with more spice than B that time. All right, let me do some A/B tasting and comparison and on the nose and taste and get my order, and I'll come back and give you my results. Yeah, A and B's noses are similar. They've got a little bit of that bread smell on them. Like I said earlier, A is more of like the dough yeastiness, and B is more of the baked bread. So interesting. I think B beats out A. So I'm down to B and D here. All right, they both have some caramel on the nose. B has the predominant bread with the caramel. And D has more oak with the caramel. So give them one more taste. I'm going to go with B. For some reason, I was thinking D was going to take it after my first round. The nose on A and B is very similar. I like the nose on B better. The nose on B and D is definitely different. Probably about equal on that. D is more drying than B. B is the spiciest of them all. So, B has the highest spice level. It's got a great flavor, great finish. That spice, that cinnamon spiciness lingers. But there's my order. C is my fourth place today, followed by A, D, B. So, all right, we'll go through and see what we've got. But remember that, first off, I'm not a professional. I'm just a whiskey enthusiast like you, hopefully. And, any given day, I might rank these differently. Depends on what I've had to eat that day, how I'm feeling that day. What mood I'm in. But definitely, out of all this, both coming and going each direction I went on this, C stood out as definitely the outlier of these four. Definitely not bad, but not something I'm used to, and I think I prefer the other three better. So, Class C, fourth place, is the McKenzie. So, this is from Finger Lake Distillery in New York State. As I said, it's bottled and bond, 100 proof. First thing I've had from them. That nose, if anything, hit me more like a rye nose. Definitely some sort of a plant or a leaf or something in there that I was picking up. So not bad, but different. All right, third place, Class A. All right, this is the Wilderness Trail. So Wilderness Trail. So this one had the yeasty bread smell, uncooked bread smell. Wilderness Trail, does pride themselves on being a sweet mash, all sweet mash whiskeys. I'm not saying that's why that comes out off that way, but this one was the oldest, age stated at 6 years old. This was also a bottle and bond, 100 proof. So, all right, D comes in second place for me today. So D is the Weller Antique. So, yeah. So it had a very nice nose. Probably my favorite nose. Definitely don't dislike the nose on B that I picked as my winner here, but it definitely had the sweetest caramel forward nose. Definitely had some oak in there. It just seemed a little dry, when I went to taste it. So B is the Old Elk, and it definitely has the baked bread aroma on it, but it's got some caramel in there. And this is the spiciest one of them all here today. Spice level is delicious. This is the lowest proof at only 92 proof, 5-year age stated. So yeah, it wasn't the proof that was the kicker. It was the spice. So even though it is a wheated mash bill, very spicy, very tasty. It has some caramel in there. It was a cinnamon type spice, and the spice hit differently when I was going left to right versus going right to left. But I think it definitely overwhelmed whatever I tasted before it. So very, very nice. So Old Elk 5-year wheated bourbon is the winner today. A little surprising. Weller Antique, which won the first round of this, came in second today. All right, everybody, like I said earlier, if you liked what you saw here, hit the like button. Leave some comments down below on what you think of this lineup. If you've had these before, if you really like one of these, let me know. If you really don't like one of these, let me know. I know this McKenzie is probably not, I don't know what the distribution is on it, but it's probably not as widely distributed, probably not as common that people have tasted this one before. So I enjoyed throwing that one in here as the outlier. But yeah, MGP once again rules supreme. Remember, everybody, all bourbon is whiskey, but all whiskey is not bourbon. The best bourbon comes from Kentucky, but Indiana via Colorado makes some pretty good bourbon. Cheers.